Thank you for choosing DiQual, and welcome to our podcasts. Before we start, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. It is really important to us. Hit that notification button as well, because there is more to come. You can get more detail about DiQual and our courses on our website at www.mydiqual.com. We hope that you enjoy this one.
This section is Security Practitioner 210, Hostile Vehicle Mitigation. And this section is called, Why Use HVM?
There have been countless attacks on individuals, crowded places, and buildings that have directly involved the use of a vehicle, as either the weapon itself, or as a means of deploying a weapon. These vehicles are referred to as hostile. Hostile vehicle mitigation is the term used for any defense mechanism that reduces the impact of a hostile vehicle. There are many ways that a vehicle could be used as a threat, but they can be simplified into two categories: penetration and deployment. Penetration is when a vehicle deliberately drives at a target, with a view to cause damage to structure, or cause injury and loss of life. Deployment is when a vehicle is used to deliver a weapon, usually an improvised explosive device, IED.
A quick search on the internet, and you will find records and accounts of vehicle-borne IEDs that date back to 1920, in the USA, where a wagon was packed with explosives and detonated in Wall Street, New York. At this point in the module you will find a link to a web page that will tell you more about the Wall Street bombing of 1920, that killed 38 people, and injured many others. Every year since, has recorded multiple incidents killing and injuring thousands of people. However, in recent years there has been an increase in non-IED vehicle attacks. These have targeted people such as the 2016 Nice attack, which saw a 19-ton truck deliberately drive into crowds of people, resulting in 86 deaths, and hundreds of people being injured. There have been many more similar significant attacks since then. There is another link at this point in the text, to a web page that gives more details about the Nice attack.
Not all hostile vehicles are used to kill and cause injury. Some are used in ram raids, to attack a shop, or a building, to facilitate an entry, so that thieves can steal the valuable contents. Construction vehicles are often used to attack cash machines in an attempt to remove it totally, or open it to get the cash out.
There is an image here, in the module, that shows a shop front that has been destroyed by a vehicle, and left the shop exposed.
All of these scenarios need hostile vehicle mitigation measures to reduce the risk of a successful attack. HVM is a system of defenses designed to prevent a vehicle getting close to a person, people, or structural target. This could be created through landscaping and environmental design, or by using specific HVM measures, such as bollards, blockers and barriers. There are many ways that a vehicle can be used to attack a target, and it is important to have an understanding of these, to design appropriate hostile vehicle mitigation measures, to counter the attack. Parked or abandoned vehicle near, adjacent to, or underneath the target, could be used for reconnaissance, a hiding place for an attacker, or it could contain a VBIED. Penetration is the term used when a vehicle is used as a tool to break down defenses. This could either be to enable a theft, or to deploy a VBIED closer to the target. A vehicle can encroach on a target by circumventing defenses, or by exploiting a weakness in HVM. An attacker may use deception to circumvent hostile vehicle mitigation measures, by pretending to be a service provider, such as a refuse collection truck, or by cloning a license plate of an authorized vehicle. An attacker may be on a suicide mission, might hijack an authorized vehicle, and force the driver, under duress, to bypass security measures. Terrorists and fanatics do not necessarily follow rulebooks, and choose a single form of attack. It is very likely that a combination of these methods are used over a period of time, or as a coordinated, or sequenced attack. Any attack that is either completely or partially successful is likely to cause structural damage and injury, or take life. If a VBAD is detonated on target, it is expected that there will be significant debris flying in all directions. The initial blast may cause structural damage and collapse, and it is likely this, and the effects of the blast, are the cause of loss of life and significant injuries. It has been the case in the past, where an attacker has deliberately packed an IED with metal object to cause as much injury as possible.
At this point in the text is a link to a web page that will tell you more about the London nail bombings in 1999.
The effects of a blast include shock waves, blast waves, and a fireball. These waves of increased pressure are the elements that cause the secondary effects of structural damage and flying debris, which in turn causes loss of life and significant injuries. The blast waves can travel for hundreds of meters and get reflected and amplified by the environment. This section started off by posing the question, why use HVM? The answer is not as simple as to say, we use HVM to stop hostile vehicles. HVM stands for hostile, which means unfriendly or belonging to the enemy. Vehicle, a car, truck or any other form of transport, and mitigation. The word mitigation is a key term within HVM. Mitigation means to reduce, it does not mean to stop. We use HVM to reduce the impact of a hostile vehicle, whatever its motive or intention. The reason that we use the term mitigation, rather than stop, is because the attacker has all the time in the world to plan and build their attack. Theoretically, an attacker could always outweigh HVM measures by building larger and larger IEDs. However, thanks to many other security measures, such as intelligence and operations by security agencies, it is not easy to build something that big without somebody else knowing about it. Therefore, we use the term mitigation to reduce the threat rather than stop it. Hostile vehicle mitigation measures reduce the risk of a vehicle with malicious intent entering a controlled area. Many definitions of HVM refer to terrorism, but terrorism is not the only reason that vehicles are used maliciously. Criminals might use a car to ram the front of a jewelry store, so that they can steal the valuable contents of the shop window, i.e. ram raid. Others may use a construction vehicle to pull an ATM out of a wall. HVM measures protect against thieves, political activists and accidental impact, as well as against terrorism.
Here in the text is a photograph of a man standing at an ATM machine that is surrounded by HVM bollards.
HVM is not only used to prevent a vehicle entering a controlled area. It also creates a standoff. Standoff is essential to protecting anything that has a risk of a VBAED attack. Containing an explosion is difficult and expensive. One of the most effective ways to mitigate against a VBAED is to not let it get close enough to the asset to cause significant damage. Having a secure HVM line at a significant distance from the asset is not always possible, due to pre-existing constraints, but there is a saying amongst security consultants, that every meter counts. Standoff should be maximized wherever possible. The last point to note in this section is that like any security measures, HVM must be appropriate and proportional to the risk. The risk should be identified through a process of risk assessment that will identify the likely threats from hostile vehicles, i.e. ram raid, VBAED, or simply driving into a crowd of people. For example, it would not usually be appropriate or proportional to put a 25 meters standoff distance between a public road and a jewelry store. However, it might be appropriate and proportional to have such a distance around a BSL-4 laboratory or a cash handling depot.
That completes this section of audio. We try to keep narration short, because there is a lot of information contained in this section. If you want to, you can listen again, or read the section and switch between text and audio. When you are ready, you can proceed to the next section or subsection within the module.